How's it going, everybody? Back with another collection video today. This time, this is my 007 James Bond game collection. I have 11 games over here. I'd like to get some more. I'd like to get the Duel on the Sega Genesis. I think that's it's modeled after. It's not based on anything. I don't think that either one of the Timothy Dalton movies, but he's got him on the cover of the case and the game. I'd like to get. I kind of want 007 Legends. I know it's not supposed to be that great, but if I can find it at a decent price, I'd like to get it. I want to get the Quantum of Solace on the PS2 because that's a third-person shooter. It's not first-person. You know, I used to have GoldenEye back in the day on the Nintendo 64. Loved it. My friends and I played a ton of it. I have it on the Rare Replay now because I think it was added to Rare Replay. If you have it on the Xbox One, it's like a DLC. Just throw the disc in or whatever. But I would like to get a copy of that. That's actually not that expensive these days. There's a couple other I might want to pick up, like the Game Boy. James Bond's supposed to be cool. I watched some video on it. I had never played it, but it looks like kind of a top-down, almost like a original Metal Gear type game. But yeah, there's a couple other ones floating around, like the Tomorrow Never Dies for the PS1. I played some of that at some point. I must have gotten it at a garage sale and tested it before I sold it. I know that one's not supposed to be that great, but I kind of just want it. I know it's 007 Racing as well on the PS1 and some other ones here and there. But anyway, I'll start with these two. We've got The World Is Not Enough for the Nintendo 64. Pretty cool game, actually. It's not as classic as like a GoldenEye. I've not completed this one, but still is good. It follows the movie The World Is Not Enough, and it's still classic Bond stuff. EA did some pretty good Bond stuff, honestly. They haven't really made. Who owns Bond now? I guess Activision does. Or does anybody have the rights to Bond anymore? Because there hasn't been a Bond game in shit. I think Bloodstone was the last one, or maybe it was 007 Legends that was actually the last one. Was there something else? But yeah, this is a cool one. Looks pretty good, honestly, and it plays supposed to. I don't have it. I was just looked when I bought this one. I was like, yeah, there's a PlayStation version as well. That one's supposed to not be nearly as good as this one, so still cool. And you get the blue cartridge. That was the cool thing about the Nintendo 64. You get like random colored cartridges. Like Donkey Kong was a yellow cart. I think the Zeldas you could either get gray or the gold. Scooby-Doo, the one I had, Classic Creep Capers back in the day, was a black cart. The one I have now is a gray cart. And I think Tony Hawk might have been yellow or blue as well. So that's kind of cool. I don't know. And then I have the Game Boy Color version of The World Is Not Enough. I've not played this one yet. This was the last one of the with some other games that I'd gotten the last time I was at the East End Gaming back in Oakdale on Long Island, New York. I picked up this, I think Mission Impossible for the Game Boy Color, Jackal on the NES, and I think a couple of PSP games that I have. But I've not played this one yet. I do want to give this a try. I do have the Retron Square, so I can play the Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Colors on the TV, which is nice. I do have a Game Boy Color as well. I'm not a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance SP. But I'd prefer to play it on the TV. This was $7. There was also Nightfire on the GBA that was in first person, but I don't think it was that great. But that's a little pricey. Maybe like $30-$40. Not like overly pricey, but more expensive than most Bond games sell for. And speaking of the Game Boy Advance, 007 Everything or Nothing for the Game Boy Advance. It's like, I should have just showed this with the console version, but this is like a top-down game, so it's not the same as that. But from what I played of it, it's pretty fun. Like I said, I want to play more. Like I was playing this on the GBA. I would prefer to play it on the TV. I can't handle the small screens anymore. Like even the PSP, like the Switch, if I played that in handheld mode, which I don't play a ton of it in handheld mode, that at least is like, it's like 6-7 inch screen. It's a little better. All right, so I'll go with the Xbox ones first. Going in order of this generation of them. Cube, Xbox, and PS2. Agent Under Fire. I originally had this on the GameCube when I played it back then. I cannot remember a ton of it. But I did enjoy this one and the next first-person one as well. This is the first. It's kind of a silhouette of Pierce Brosnan, but it is not him yet. This had multiplayer and stuff. I mean, it's classic Bond. You get some vehicle missions. You're going all over the world and stuff, and you get gadgets and stuff. This was a good game. Like I said, EA did well with the Bond license. They really did. And these Bond games for that era of consoles are cheap. Even the Cube ones are not expensive. But yeah, Agent Under Fire. And then Nightfire came out, which is the better of those two ones. And this has Pierce Brosnan, but it's not his voice. I'm pretty sure it's not his voice, just his likeness. He does come to voice soon, but I got this for $10 at the video game trading post in Bayshore Mall. I had this one on the Xbox back in the day. I originally played on the Xbox. This had a multiplayer that I did play some of, because I believe it had bots in this one you could play with. You know, if you didn't have anyone to play multiplayer with, you could play with bots, which is pretty cool if you can't find 3 other people to play with you. Same thing. You're doing vehicle missions. You're doing all types of stuff, going to crazy locations. I think this is the one where you end up in space at the end. But like I said, I can't remember a ton of it. Bond. Nice spine. And then, I'm going to show this one. I played some of this, but it's not that good. It's like the spin-off. This is GoldenEye Rogue Agent. I had gotten this for $5. Let's see if the receipt's in here. No, I must have got it with something else. This case is pretty damaged, which I didn't realize when I grabbed it. Not that it matters. This is $5. This is like standard corridor shooter, this game. I always thought you killed Bond in this, but you don't. You get taken. You're part of MI6, and you get screwed up in something, and you go rogue and bad, and they give you a golden eye because you lose your eye or whatever. And that's why it's called GoldenEye. I mean, they were just trying to bank off the name GoldenEye at this point. It's just such a standard corridor shooter. It's just so basic compared to the other ones, especially. This is definitely the weakest of the EA Bonds, at least on the consoles. I don't know all the handheld ones. But you fight alongside and against legendary villains. But you get different gadgets with your eye and stuff. Yeah, manipulate electronics, deflect bullets, and send enemies flying. Rogue Agent. I never finished it. Maybe one day I will. It's not that it's bad. It's just compared to the other ones, it's just not nearly as good in my opinion. And here's the console version of Everything or Nothing. I originally played this on the Xbox as well. This is not a major copy. $4 for this one. Another cool game. This one's in third person now, and you actually have Pierce Brosnan doing the voice as well, alongside a bunch of people. You got Willem Dafoe here, Shannon Elizabeth, Richard Kiel as Jaws again, John Cleese, Judi Dench as M, a couple other people as well. Known faces here. It's cool. Third person, same stuff. Bond. You get a cover system and shit. You get your Bond action. Gadgets, you got car vehicles. I think you got some motorcycle stuff in here as well. You're going to crazy locations. Like I said, I can't remember a ton about these Bond games because I haven't played them in years. But this one was awesome, and to take it into third person, like this is like regarded as realistically outside of the Nintendo 64 version of GoldenEye, the original. A lot of people's and just overall like the most well received of the Bond games. None of them. A few, like I know 007 Legends didn't review well, but all the other ones reviewed at least okay to good. But this one reviewed great. Like, people loved this game. I remember when it came out, everybody's like, oh shit. I didn't play it when it came out. I played it maybe a year later. I think it came out in 03. No, it did come out in 04. So I did play. I remember playing this in '04. I got this. It was like buy two get one free, or it was like 3 for $20 or whatever it was at GameStop. I remember getting this. Prince of Persia, the first Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, and what was the? It might have been Legacy of Kain Defiance. I think, I don't know if that came out in '04 or not, because I know I got this with it, so it would have been some point in '04. I think it was later '04 actually. So it might have been Legacy of Kain Defiance. It was like maybe 3 for $3. I don't know. There was some kind of deal. I picked up. Definitely did some Prince of Persia. And I want to say it was Legacy of Kain Defiance was the other one. But yeah. And I've not played this one yet, but it's also in third person. And it's from Russia with Love. So you got Sean Connery actually doing the voice here as well, I believe, as using his likeness from the movie he was in. So it's in third person again. You're getting your little jetpacks and stuff in here, it looks like. I need to give this one a play, honestly, because this is a later era title. This is '05. But this one wasn't as well received as Everything or Nothing, but people did seem to like this one also. If anyone's played it, let me know how it is. And now I will move into the 3 I have on the 360. This is the latest Bond game I've gotten, and I have not played it yet. Quantum of Solace. So I want to get to one on the PS2, because the PS2 is supposed to be the best of them all, and the PS2 is actually in third person, like the other ones. But now Activision is got the license for Bond at this point. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if anybody has it now. Bond is always like a pain in the ass thing, apparently. I remember like they wanted to do GoldenEye remakes and stuff, and just like Nintendo had part of the rights, Rare had part of the rights, obviously. Whoever makes the movies did, and like, is it Broccoli? Is that the guy who wrote the books? I forget. Like his family, I guess his estate has rights. Like it was, nobody could come to agreements seemingly with these Bonds, and they don't make them anymore. They bounce from freaking. It's almost like the Halloween movies. They bounce from like people to people, company to company. But I've not played this. This is a first-person shooter. I assume it just follows the movie. This one wasn't too poorly received, though. I think it reviewed average. I got Daniel Craig now. This one, I did not finish it yet. GoldenEye Reloaded. So this originally was remade for the Wii. It came out on the Wii first, and that's apparently the best version of this to play, Reloaded. And you've got Daniel Craig here for some reason. I don't know if he's doing the voice as well, but it's not Pierce Brosnan and Sean Bean as Trevelyan and Bond. It's, it's Daniel Craig as Bond and then some other random dude. It's not even the likeness of Sean Bean. But it starts off, it's Bond. The remade levels look nice and stuff, but this is like the Rogue Agent. It's so basic to me compared to other Bond games. Like, it doesn't even have the impact. The weapons don't even have the impact or the feel. Like, when you're shooting them and stuff, it just feels good. It sounds good. This game, it sounds like shit, even compared to the Nintendo 64 version, which is crazy. It's just, I don't know. I was not digging this. This game was pissing me off. I can't remember what level I'm on. I was just like, this is so bland and boring. Like, I'm getting bored. Which is disappointing, because I was like, oh, I want to play this. Maybe the Wii version's where it's at. Maybe I need to pick that up. But yeah, it's not like it sucked, but it was just so basic. Like, I didn't get it. And the last one, which I played of this one, has been cool so far, and I got this at a great price. I got this since we've been in North Carolina. I got this at the Toy Busters, I believe the toy store is called. They have games as well, but it's Bloodstone, 007 Bloodstone. Now, I think 007 Legends came after this one. Let's see. This is 2010, and I want to say this came out, this came out in 2010. No, this came out in 11, it says. Maybe the Wii version came out like the same day. The Wii version of this came out the same day as this. I can't remember. I don't think it's Quantum of Solace, like 08, wasn't it? Yeah. So I don't know if 007 Legends is the last Bond game made, but this is a great price. This is $8. It's in the 360. You have to play this on the 360 because it's not backwards compatible. I don't know how many years ago it was, but they removed like all these from the Xbox store, those Bond games. Like this one, GoldenEye Reloaded, I think Quantum of Solace. But this is in third person as well. From what I played of it, it's pretty fun. I did a gameplay of it on my other channel. Pretty cool stuff. It starts off with a bang. You're in the boat at some point, I believe. You know, you run around shooting people, taking cover. It's a pretty solid title, honestly. It's just, you kind of just get in there, kind of mindless in a way. You're not thinking too much. You're just hiding behind cover, taking people out, using your gadgets and stuff, hopping in a car or a boat. But this is, like I said, this sells for like 20 to 25 bucks usually on like eBay. So to get it at 8 was great. Because this is one I was interested in getting. And the funny thing is, I didn't have any interest when it came out. I remember seeing like gameplay of it at the time. I would have the PS3. Actually, no, I would have. Actually, when this came out, I would have been the 360 again. My PS3 would have crapped out at that point. I ended up getting another one a couple of years later. I think it was 2011 or 10. When did I get? I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent. Sorry. I got my PS3 in 2007, summer 2007. And yeah, it crapped out, I guess, like fall of 2010. I remember I was playing, I think it was Ratchet and Clank. Was it a crack in time? And all of a sudden it was just like, it stopped. I couldn't even get the thing to turn on or anything. Like, it was done. And I sold it like that. And I told the person, like, listen, this thing doesn't work. If someone wants to open up and fix it, I sold it for a cheap price on eBay. And the game was still, I'm like, there's a game in here as well. And that would suck because that was one of the backwards compatible ones that could play the PS1 and the PS2 games as well before they changed that in later models. I think it was a 60 gigabyte? Was they like 60 and 40 or something? Their models were at first. I don't know. But yeah, I would have actually had the Xbox 360 when I played this again. But when this first came out. Because after that died, I traded some stuff to my friend's brother for his 360. But this is pretty fun. You get some hand-to-hand combat as well. You're doing like, you're taking out guys and stealthing them and shit. But I do want to play more of this one, actually, when I get back to play 360 stuff. I do want to play more of this one. It's a shame they don't make them anymore. I guess there's just nobody can get the rights, or not enough people get an agreement to just spread the money around or whatever the fuck they're doing. It's frustrating. It's the same thing with like the Mission Impossibles. And Mission Impossible has only been like, I feel like 5 Mission Impossible games throughout the course of video games. You know, there's a good amount of Bond games. I got 11 here, and there's, you know, versions on the PSP, the 3DS, the DS. No, maybe not the 3DS, the DS definitely. The Game Boy has one. The Game Boy Advance has another one with Nightfire. They're kind of all over the place. You know, there's one on the Genesis. There's James Bond Jr. as well. I think the Atari has a Bond game. So they've been around for a bit. Like Mission Impossible, literally, there's one on the NES, the Nintendo 64, the PlayStation. There was one on the Atari, I believe, as well. Maybe. I'm not sure, actually. And then there was the one Operation Surma that came out on the PS2, Cube, and Xbox, and that's it. I guess it's the same thing. Like whoever makes the movies was like, I know Tom Cruise's company, and then Paramount that makes them too, distributes them or whatever. I guess they don't want to fucking have any video games. It's weird. I don't know. I'm surprised Tom Cruise, like, now the first Mission Impossible was based off of based off the first movie, but like, I'm surprised he wasn't like, oh, hey, Tom, you want to do the voice for this? Use your likeness, man. You could, you crazy shit. You do all this stuff in the movies. I'm surprised they never made any, like, or someone was just like, listen, we got to get this done. Like, just try to convince whoever to make these fucking things, because I think they'd work well if they were done right. But anyway, that is just my 007 collection here today. Like I said, I want to add some more to them. My next video might be another collection of a franchise of games I have, maybe Star Wars or like Final Fantasy or something like that. Or maybe Mario or some shit. I'll think of something. But anyway, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.